recent announcement, David, yesterday by your government.
Yes.
Unprecedented $17 billion that's going to help. Talk about it and how it's going to help the lives of Ontarians.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, as a government and as your local member, my priority's been the health, safety, and well-being of our residents and of this province. And during these unprecedented times, we knew that the ultimately over the past few weeks, the delivery of a budget was not feasible given the economic forecasting that had gone into it and the significant changes over the past number of weeks. So as a response, we've committed over $7 billion additional dollars, over $3 billion of which is going directly into our healthcare system, another $3 billion plus directly to support people's businesses, jobs during these difficult and unprecedented times. So as a government, we stand ready. Obviously, our initial package of an additional $300 million directly into the healthcare system, and now this budget that we've introduced, or our action plan, really, which is what it is, because we'll provide another economic update in the fall. Unprecedented on multiple levels, obviously what we're going through, moving quickly. I spoke to the finance minister about it, and the challenge is he stands ready. As a government, we're ready to provide any necessary supports to help Ontarians during these difficult times. And then when we return to some level of normality, we will then introduce another budget next year. But for now, we need to give supports to Ontarians. That's exactly what we've done in this budget, and we need to act decisively.
Do you see this as a fluid or moving situation where the government will react with more financial aid if need be?
Absolutely, Mark. I think we will and have to date. If we're looking at some of the systemic issues that folks are challenging, lowering our electricity rates, providing substantive supports for utilities for those who are struggling there, guaranteeing employment through changes to the Employer Services Act, and ensuring workers are protected in this community, gains for seniors, doubling the gains program for our seniors, providing direct payment supports to parents. There's a number of measures we're targeting, but first and foremost to our healthcare system. Massive increase to public health, just under $1 billion increase to our hospital sector, $250 million increase to long-term care. We're seeing direct supports into transitional bed funding. I know for local folks to sort of contextualize that, in NHH, we have a high number of alternate level of care patients who are in the emerger and hospital that would be better suited elsewhere and better looked after in our system. And this is what we're all about, the right level of care at the right time. So we're mobilizing to ensure that our system is able to withstand this through a significant multi-billions of dollars in additional injections into our healthcare system, but also being smart about it and making sure that people are getting the right level of care at the right time. But this is unprecedented, Mark, and in short, yes, as the Premier said, we stand ready to support Ontarians at every step of the way.
I'm sure you were in constant contact with healthcare officials, the NHH in particular, on a daily or bi-daily basis. What are you hearing from the hospital, and how is the NHH surviving this currently?
Well, for both of our hospitals, I've heard they're doing well. I've spoken to both fairly regularly. I'll be speaking with both again today as we look to expand our test centers in Northumberland. It's been a strain as we deal with this as an entire country on personal protective equipment. I know everybody is moving quickly to respond to make sure our frontline healthcare workers have the supports and the personal protective equipment they need. This challenge on global supply chains for this, but the ingenuity from our business community, whether it be coming together for hand sanitizers. I've had elderly women write to me offering to knit masks. So, the unprecedented response we've seen from government, a whole of government approach, but also from our community, mobilizing and coming together has really shown the Ontario spirit.
Some were hoping that maybe some dollars were going to be given directly into the hands of the needy. I know there's reduction in electricity rates. I know there's many things such as that to save money. why not maybe, I know some people are saying, why not a check to the needy that need it, that are going to need it most?
Well, I mean, that's an excellent question. So, whole of government, we are doing that when we take a whole of government approach. And I think when we design a budget, it's important. Ontarians and Canadians don't want to see governments working in isolation. They don't want to see governments not speaking. And what I think we've seen from all Canadians, regardless of political stripe, is a real appreciation of the whole of government approach we've taken to this. I know that yesterday the Prime Minister spoke about an additional just under or approximately 1,000 biweekly for those who need it. So they'll be getting direct supports during these difficult times. We're providing direct payments for parents and looking after a loved one. We've taken some of those pressures, as you mentioned, the electricity and others, and had a reduction there. But they want to see the government work together, and our $200 million to the sector, to those who are most in need. The tangible and practical realities are local examples that we've seen here with moving the homelessness into a facility where they can all be housed properly and exercise social distancing, additional funds to support meals for at-risk seniors, over $5 million direct to that. We've seen, as I said, that $200 million that's going to our municipalities. And again, a lot of it is through our partners managing this. So it flows through to the county, to our municipalities direct. Often they are better on the front lines to respond to the different needs. What are the needs in Brighton are very different from time to time from the needs in Cobourg and Port Hope. So ensuring that those frontline supports go to the charities, NGOs, and people on the front line so that they can best coordinate it. Because what this pandemic calls for is a coordinated response, and we've invested unprecedented dollars, as I said, over $7 billion additional dollars this year alone to addressing this.
You made a passionate plea Monday evening when you seen the amount of RVs that were parked in the Walmart parking lot.
Yes.
Talk about that reaction that you first had when you saw what was happening and the snowbirds coming home, not listening to what was being told.
Well, when I heard that, I mean, you get frustrated, and I was frustrated. You almost feel your back's against the wall here, that our community, we don't think and have not mentioned the heroic work of men and women working at our grocery stores, at our supply stores, who are there every day to make sure we have the supplies that we need. And they're at risk. Our seniors, we have an elderly population, are at risk. We're a stone's throw from the hospital right there in the parking lot, and people so flippantly disregarding calls by our public health officials, whom we've come to know closely over the past number of weeks, flippantly disregarding that, going into Popeyes, going into Walmart, coming out with grocery carts full, really shows a flippant disregard for the health, safety, and well-being of residents of this community. And that's who I'm responsible for. So I couldn't tolerate that. I spoke to Walmart management. They were very frustrated as well. I don't know if many people know, but Smart Centers manages or owns the parking lot there. So I got in touch with them, and within 4 hours, we got a call back. Smart Centers said, "We're going to tow you if you don't leave." So that decisive response was positive. I was there last night on my way home, well past midnight, and it was empty. So I'm pleased to see their response. I spoke to the police about it. They certainly were not happy to see that, and they moved quickly. So I think we're moving quickly as a community, but my plea to everyone is, whether it be friends, neighbors, others you see, please encourage folks. They have to practice social distancing. The health and well-being of your neighbors depends on it. You might think you don't have it. You very well might. It's in the community now. So please take personal measures, everybody, to socially distance yourself, as you and I are doing now, as others are doing, and together we'll get through this.
One final message to the residents of Northumberland and Peterborough South that you would have for them.
Well, I would say to our residents that through these difficult times, I'm here to support you. Our government's here to support you. We've moved quickly by declaring a state of emergency, by an unprecedented investment into our economy and into the direct hands of individuals, be it seniors, parents, our businesses, deferring cash flow for our small businesses that are feeling the struggle during these times. But we stand ready. The Premier has daily come before Ontarians saying we're ready and willing, and I stand willing with our team to provide whatever support's necessary. I've been working with our public health officials, with our broader health sector, with our hospitals, with our frontline providers, with our long-term care homes. Whichever way you look at it, additional investments are going to all of these aspects, and I think it's forced our community to come together. And you're seeing a whole of government approach here, but we stand ready to support Ontarians at every step of the way, and we will do whatever it takes and mobilize any resources to ensure that we emerge stronger as a community and that we protect the health and well-being of residents of this province.